Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Wednesday, the 26th of November, 2025. The year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post on chain. All right, let's see what we got today. Again, just going to go through some posts on my feed, then we'll have a look at the figures and finish off with some 365 days of Bitcoin history. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go in my feed. Start where we left off. So this is a post from Shanaka Aslim Pereira. Probably murdering that name, but quite an interesting post, this one. He says, the $48 billion maths error. Strategy Incorporated just disclosed something extraordinary. They own 649,870 Gregcoin. That is 3.26% of every Bitcoin that will ever exist. Total cost $48.37 billion. They also disclose the numbers that prove this cannot survive the next 90 days. Oh, okay. Here's the accounting reality they publish, but nobody is reading correctly. Strategy has $54 million in cash. They owe $700 million per year in preferred stock dividends. Their software business generates negative cash flow. To pay dividends, they must raise $700 million in new capital every single year before buying a single additional Gregcoin. They raised $19.5 billion in the first 9 months of 2025. That money did not go to new Gregcoin purchases. They went to service the debt from the previous capital raises. This is Ponzi finance by definition. Borrowing to pay the interest on prior borrowing. Yeah, oof, jeepers. The machine only worked because their stock traded above the value of underlying Gregcoin. When shares traded at 2x net asset value, issuing equity increased Gregcoin per share of existing shareholders. That premium collapsed to 1.0x in November 2025. Issuing equity now dilutes shareholders. Yeah, it does. The recursive accumulation loop stopped functioning. Oof. The preferred stock makes it worse. I think it's STRC started at 9.0% dividend rate in July. Management raised it to 10.5% by November. Every time the stock falls below $100, they increase the dividend to attract buyers. There is no ceiling. If confidence breaks, the dividend spirals until they cannot pay without selling Gregcoin. Selling Gregcoin destroys the thesis that justified the accumulation. Jan 15, 2026 is the date that decides everything. I think that's MicroStrategy Incorporated. Announces whether companies over 50% of MSCI announces whether companies with over 50% of assets in digital currencies get excluded from indices. Strategy is 77% Gregcoin. Exclusion is not discretionary. Oof, it is mechanical. JP Morgan estimates that $2.8 billion in forced selling from index funds. Total outflows could reach 8.8 billion. Jeepers. 15 to 20% of market cap liquidated by algorithms that do not care about fundamentals. The October 10 crash was the preview. When Gregcoin fell 17%, order books collapsed 90%, and $19 billion in positions liquidated in 14 hours. Strategy holds 3.26% of total supply. If they're forced to sell 100,000 Gregcoin to meet obligations, there is no liquidity to absorb it without breaking the market. No liquidity to absorb it without breaking the market. Pardon my French, but holy crap. Strategy claims 71 years of dividend coverage. The maths assumes that they can sell $1 billion of Gregcoin annually without moving the price. Well, we saw $9.6 billion being moved by Galaxy just recently, but that was at market highs when confidence was high. October 10 proved that assumption false. The market cannot absorb sovereign scale selling during stress. This is not about whether Gregcoin succeeds. Gregcoin will outlive Strategy Incorporated. This is about whether corporations can hold sovereign monetary reserves using quarterly financing and monthly dividend obligations. Sovereigns operate on infinite time horizons. Corporations operate on 90-day cycles. By March 2026, the market delivers its verdict. Either Strategy restructures, shrinks, and survives diminished, or the entire corporate Bitcoin treasury model ends as a failed experiment. The timeline is exact. The mechanics are observable. The resolution is unavoidable. What happens in the next 90 days will define corporate finance and monetary competition for the next 50 years. The numbers are already published. The outcome is already determined. Only the recognition remains. Read the full deep dive analysis here. Wow. I mean, that is in serious trouble. Serious trouble. That was a really great post there, actually. Really great post. Just basically outlining the Ponzi-nomics of Michael Saylor's strategy, or should we start calling it tragedy? Oh, jeepers. And another post here. I said, it's fine. Discovery said breaking. Huge global funds are behind the Gregcoin dump. Wintermute selling BTC, BlackRock selling BTC, Grayscale selling BTC, Bitwise selling BTC, and Binance selling BTC. Over $15 billion in non-stop Gregcoin dumps. This isn't normal. This is pure coordinated manipulation. Yeah, and you could see that. So let's have a look at this then. Yeah, dumping. Ooh, but yeah, again, that's what it looks like in the charts as well. Whoa. Wouldn't want to be holding Gregcoin right now, to be honest with you. And the same guy, Shanaka Aslam Pereira, said here, I'm about to destroy the biggest lie in finance this week. JP Morgan is shorting MicroStrategy. So he's saying that that's a lie. He said, you have seen this everywhere. Millions of views, boycott calls, comparisons to GameStop, etc. I pulled the actual SEC filing. JP Morgan disclosed short positions in MicroStrategy stock 0. So in other words, they don't have any short positions against Strategy. Not hidden, not secret, 0. The entire narrative is built on a few X posts since November 23rd. No source, no filing, no evidence, just claim that went viral because people wanted it to be true. Here's what the filing does show. JP Morgan holds 772,000 shares of MicroStrategy in Q3. That is real. They also hold put options worth 117 million. That is real. A short position, fabricated. Total MicroStrategy short interest across all holders, 9.74% of float. GameStop at the squeeze, 140%. These numbers are not comparable. But here is what nobody is asking. Why did JP Morgan sell? Same quarter, same filing deadline, Harvard University disclosed at $443 million a Gregcoin position. Not in MicroStrategy, in BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. Harvard's largest holding, bigger than Microsoft, bigger than Amazon, bigger than Nvidia. Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth up 230% in the same ETF. Emory University up 91%, total ETF inflows since January 2024, 60.8 billion. JP Morgan did not attack Gregcoin. JP Morgan abandoned the middleman. MicroStrategy now trades at 12% discount to its own Gregcoin. The premium is gone. The leverage is a liability. The proxy is obsolete. Wall Street is not leaving Gregcoin. Wall Street is buying it directly. The lie distracted you. The rotation is the story. Oof. It's all coming out of the woodwork now. Jeepers. Jeepers. Here we go. Let's find it again. These are all the posts we're going to get through. Some juicy ones from CSW that we'll look at in just a minute. Yeah, there we go. So that's one we've just read. Swan Desk said just in. Binance founder CZ faces yet another massive lawsuit, now accused of facilitating $900 million in payments to Hamas and other terrorist groups. Good grief. Good grief. CSW said here, oh, it looks like he's produced another paper. This is on the 24th of November. He said, and that is my day and time to relax. I've just walked through a paper that's gone public. It's peer-reviewed, not a bloat rant, not a bar napkin fantasy, not some half-baked trust me bro in a private Slack channel. It shall be out there with the rest of the world, sharpening knives or nodding along, and that's how it should be. If you can't stand your work under daylight, you don't do the work. The subject is deterministic state management in artificial intelligence. And I'm not talking about feeling good words pasted on a black box. I mean making AI state something you can point at, verifiable, replay, and hold to account. The mechanism is simplified payment verification based signaling. The chain gives you a public timestamp of what the agent knew, when it knew it, and what it was allowed to touch. No whispered networks or secret logs. The state isn't a ghost living inside some shifting parameter soup. It's a fact anchored in transactions, checked by simplified payment verification, and fixed in time by economic finality. Oof, sounds great. And then there's the legal part, the thing everybody wants to dodge until they get sued. The system builds a ledger attribution layer, not as a polite suggestion, but as something enforced through spend conditions and provable rights. This is where NFTs stop being cartoon monkeys sold to bored gamblers and become what they were always supposed to be, licensing instruments. Access tokens that say in cold script logic, you can use this document, you can train on that corpse, you can reproduce the copyright material, and here's how payment and attribution flow when you do. Rights aren't waved around in PowerPoint. They're consumed, proven, and paid for at scale, with every use leaving a trace any auditor can verify. So if you want a future where AI can ingest real knowledge without turning every publisher into an enemy and every developer into a thief, this is one clean way to do it. It turns compliance into infrastructure. It turns attribution into math. It turns payment into a native function for use, not after the fact apology. You don't need to trust AI. You read the proofs, you see the rights, you follow the chain. My last academic conference for the autumn. Oh, wow. Wow. The guy is a machine. The guy, that is just phenomenal that we're witnessing one man being able to produce stuff like this. It's sensational. Literally sensational. Just got to talk about this post here from DXS app because it was quite motivating. They said, you want BSV price to rise? Real demand comes from utility. Absolutely. Not speculation. The fastest path to utility, tokenize everything. The only way to do that at scale is on layer 1 chain with Terranode, using a standard that uses sats as tokens. This creates a simple formula. Asset issuer needs tokens, buy the BSV to get sats. BSV price goes up. Yep, absolutely. Every BSV gives you 100 million tokens to build the peer-to-peer future. The economic engine is right there. We just have to turn it on. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They know what Bitcoin is over at DXS app. Brilliant. And CSW said here in response to Kate Mosso, when she said, I'm ambivalent about putting my all my self-funded in-person crypto interviews into the trash folder instead of wasting days editing to my standards. And I think this may be, I'm pushing this. It's been sad for me to see the reality and realize there is no truth, no funding No need. What do I do? And she's tagged Craig there. So obviously, I mean, this is the issue. You know, people do want funding. Everybody needs funding. You know, CSW's point is, well, you need to produce something that people want for demands, you know, and they'll pay for it. I think you've used that as like socializing, socialism. But he said, do not you dare consign honest labour to the dustbin, because a gaggle of opportunists has decided that truth is unfashionable this quarter. The spectacle of crypto has always attracted the same zoological assortment: grifters, fashion followers, and the terminally credulous, all applauding whatever fraud currently jingles loudest. Their indifference is not a verdict on your work, it is an indictment of their appetites. Yeah, very true. You did not fund those interviews with the hope of winning a popularity contest among people who confuse noise with value. You did it to record reality, to preserve testimony, to pin slippery men to the wall with their own words. That archive is already an achievement. Publish it because it is right, not because it is a reward. A civilization that only speaks when subsidiaries deserve its silence. As for no funding, no need, that's the catechism of cowards. The only channel that ever truly paid at the beginning, whether in coin, attention, or consequence, are the ones that are built on conviction, not compliance. If the world were waiting with open checkbooks for convenient facts, it would not be the world we live in. You're experiencing the cost of integrity. That cost is proof you're doing something real. So he's still encouraging it there. Let the dissenters hiss. Let the timid avert their eyes. Your task is not to please them. Your task is to state what is, and to keep stating it until the posturers are forced to contend with it or suckle back into their burrows. Stand for what is right. The rest is theatre. It is indeed. CSW likes delivering the cold, hard truth. It is what he likes. And I reposted this one. Bitcoin Dictionary says, oh darling, JP Morgan Chase debanked BTC holders faster than a bear market purge, all because MicroStrategy's Gregcoin hoardings has them clutching pearls like it's 2008 all over again. Meanwhile, a BSV saunters in, indefinitely scalable and truly peer-to-peer, leaving BTC, BCH gasping in their congested, faux revolutionary dust. Victory tastes like unbounded blocks. Oh, he knows. He knows. Yes, indeed. Bitcoin Dictionary does know. And another post from him here saying, BSV is now unequivocally a digital commodity under the new framework mined through honest proof of work. 21 million hard cap, zero central issuer, protocol set in stone, and the only chain actually delivering Satoshi's vision at unbounded scale. Politicians cannot interpret or backroom deal this reality away. The act can only be changed by Congress, not by unelected regulators. Any SEC tries to call true decentralization fraudulent, that claim dies in discovering day one. Lawsuits would be immediate, brutal, and winnable. Bitcoin SV isn't just compliant, it is the compliance benchmark. The rest of crypto is now playing catch up to a chain that was right all along. BSV keeps winning quietly, ruthlessly, permanently. Oh, and he's said hashtag the Clarity Act. And that brings us nicely onto another post. We'll just have a quick look at this one. He said there are 42 million BTC in circulation. This is a crime against the original Bitcoin white paper. BTC and BCH are forks with revised social contracts, not Bitcoin. Under the fixed protocol definition, SEC will file cease and desist IRS audit of 2017 to 2018 on US exchanges. Oh, that is a big claim. That is a big claim. We shall see. Oof, we shall see. But this is the big one. So I've said here, definitely 100%, provided the regulators aren't corrupt, which they are. So this is what Bitcoin Dictionary has said here. The Clarity Act enforcement will classify BSV as a digital commodity under the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. jurisdiction, exempting it from SEC securities rules due to its decentralized immutable protocol and unbounded scalability. Concurrently, mass activation of Satoshi-era Bitcoin wallets, evidenced by recent transfers of dormant BTC, will flood exchanges and legacy supply exerting severe downward pressure on price. This dual shock may precipitate Gregcoin's death spiral. Declining hash rate, rising block times, and diminished profitability will drive miners to defect to BSV, where Terranode enables millions of transactions per second and superior fee economics. Gregcoin, failing the Clarity Act's decentralization test due to centralized pools and custodians, risks SEC reclassification as a security, accelerating capital flight. BSV thus consolidates hash power and market momentum, fulfilling Satoshi's original vision of a scalable, intermediary-free electronic cash. Oh, that is massive. That is massive. So let's just read that prediction once again. Concurrently, mass activation of Satoshi-era Bitcoin wallets, evidenced by recent transfers of dormant BTC, will flood exchanges with legacy supply, exerting severe downward pressure on price. This dual shock may precipitate Gregcoin's death spiral. Declining hash rate and rising block times and diminished profitability will drive miners to defect to BSV, where Terranode enables millions of transactions per second and superior fee economics. I think we're about to see a masterclass in Bitcoin economics, because someone somewhere knows what Bitcoin truly is. Bitcoin is an economic model, and it sounds to me like we're just about to witness it. And this is why the cabal obviously want to change it to proof of stake, because it's absolute bollocks. Bitcoin Dictionary continues saying, one too many BTC icebergs and down she goes. Operation Death Spiral. Oof. Oof. And another one by Bitcoin Dictionary saying the one on the left created Bitcoin, the one on the right forked Bitcoin. And here we have Dr. Craig S. Wright on the left and Luke Dash Jr. on the right. He knows. He knows. Wow. Brilliant YouTube video here about the Currency Act of 1764. That was phenomenal. CSW has said here, BSV, the only blockchain that isn't a lie. The protocol is locked. The potential is not. Well, that's going to be my title for the show. Every other blockchain is a moving target. Every update is an admission of failure. Every fork is an abandonment of law. BSV does not move. It was designed right from the beginning. Yeah, because somebody understood what a digital commodity was. And yeah, that person was clearly a genius. Yeah, got some most posts here. Danny Tomo said here, what does Ant Middleton know that we're not being told? Ex-SBF legend drops bombshell in Poland. He said trained migrant militants preparing for a 2027 UK chaos. This is bigger than anyone realizes. Oof. Yeah, you know, we'll have to see what happens. And Liz Churchill said, oh my God, the vaccine murderers are sabotaging the HHS RFK Jr. James O'Keefe undercover footage shows government psychopaths admitting to blocking HHS RFK Jr.'s MAHA policies and will reinstate the lethal vaccine schedule when Trump leaves office. Oof. Future's looking a little bit grim. And talking about a future grim, Tommy Robinson said here, Irish teacher Enoch Burke has been dragged off to prison again. His crime, refusing to abide by gender-bending ideology. He simply wants to teach. He's just refusing to say that men are women and women are men. Yeah, and then they're taking him off to prison. There's no... See, what jurisdiction is this? Civil or criminal? If it's criminal, there has to be a victim. And if it's civil, there has to be a contract. I mean, it's just literally... This is just utter dystopia. You know, what's going on here. Like, oh, jeepers. Everybody remembers this footage. Probably won't... I doubt YouTube will let us show that one, so we'll move on. But have a look at it if you want. Nice of Wall Street 5 to send $500 to Crypto Kate. That's Kate Mosso. Mosso. She said, crypto market influencers getting in on BSV community now. Thanks to Wall Street 5 and everyone else should thank him too. Excellent. Nice one, Wall Street. Loving that. Just got our... couldn't believe this one. Look, breaking. PA bans hair racism by making a new protected class for hairstyles such as dreadlock. I mean, literally, woke absolute nonsense. The world's going crazy, but this is why the world needs Bitcoin to sort it out. Yeah, and again, yeah, there's farmers being arrested and all that. And that's Kate Mosso saying she's packing to go and see a family. I'll probably just use that $500 that Wall Street 5 sent her. Nice one there. Ben Habib, again, I've said this is why the world needs Bitcoin. You know, Ben Habib just pointing out that the Labour government is destroying the economy, destroying businesses, wanting to centralise everything under government control. And David Davis says Labour is pushing through this dangerous digital ID scheme. Today's budget confirmed it will cost at least $1.8 billion. Where'd they get that from? £22 billion bag hole. It will do nothing to stop illegal immigration or illegal working. Yeah, absolutely. And this was Chris Dork, King's Counsel. Again, like literally, so we've got King's Counsel here warning about the fact that the government are trying to get rid of trial by jury. It's outrageous.
My name is Chris Dork KC, and I'm a criminal barrister and writer. And I'm making this video because we're in a state of emergency in this country. The government has announced that it intends to virtually scrap jury trials. That's a tradition that goes back 1,000 years, and it's the one public institution in which every British person has confidence and faith. If you believe in democracy, if you believe in people participating in decisions that affect their citizens most, do everything you can. Tell your MP, tell everybody you can in the political circle, and tell your friends that this is what's being planned. Because if this happens, this country is on a slippery slope towards oblivion when it comes to justice and democracy.
And there's a man who sounds genuinely concerned. Yeah, but again, this is why the world needs Bitcoin. People don't realize it's all the financial system that's influencing everything. Everything. Right, that is 27 minutes. We'll just have a quick look at some figures here. So CoinDance saying great coin, $89,000. Bcrash just over 500. Fisher Price Cash, who cares? Bitcoin 21, staying at $21. Hash rate 0.03. Network nodes 0.00. Transactions 16.68, but block size still 78.21. Oh, some nice blocks coming through here. 24, 64, 35, 53, 35. Nice. We'll take that. It's currently 31,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. Mining Bitcoin at a 5% comparable loss, but again, we know what's in the pipeline because Bitcoin Dictionary just predicted it. Right. So other miners looks like it's got 10% on Gregcoin, 17% on Bcrash. What's that like on Fisher Price Cash down here? Oh, 33% on Bcrash. And again, not really reporting the figures there. Let's move on to some 365 days of Bitcoin history. On the 20th, actually, we missed out yesterday, didn't we? Because I had an amazing day yesterday. What an amazing meeting. I'll have to tell people about it in another show. On the 25th of November 2024, on this day, that was 7 years ago, November 25th, 2014, an asset from the kids became the 4th Bitcoin ATM operator in the world with the installation of the first ATM in Athena's ever-growing fleet. So it was like a Bitcoin ATM machine going up. 25th of November 2018, Fenech, who's been charged in connection with the purchase, had illegally tried to acquire weapons and ammunition through the dark web using Bitcoin on the 25th of November 2018. I remember that. And the weeks leading up to that date. Yeah, just a bit of news. And on the 26th of November 2018, one of the top performing cryptocurrencies of the day was Surin Labs. Does anybody remember those? I do. That's hilarious. Right. There we go. That is a 29-minute show. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.